Well, students, let's proceeding into the set 2 of the questions. Question comes is, protozoa which causes Kala Azar. Kala Azar is a name that is also leishmaniasis. And is caused by what? Leishmania. That's why Kala is also called as leishmaniasis. Because entamoeba histolytica causes amoebiasis. Trypanosoma causes sleeping sickness. And trypanosoma is a disease, STD fought. That is sexually transmitted disease, a type of disease associated with the sex. So, with the sexual organs actually. So, Kala Azar is leishmaniasis. Next, sleeping sickness is caused by Trichomonas, Trypanosoma, Leishmania, Plasmodium. Plasmodium causes malaria. Leishmania causes Kala Azar, we have just learnt. Trichomonas is STD. So it is Trypanosoma that causes sleeping sickness. Option B is the correct one. Next, unicellular non-pathogenic parasite. Unicellular, that means belonging to the group Protista or Protozoa. Non-pathogenic, that means does not cause any disease. But parasitic, that is living on the human body, is entamoeba histolytica, it causes a disease. Amoebiasis, blood-stained dysentery. Trypanosoma, it causes a disease, sleeping sickness. Entamoeba gingivalis, again it causes stomach problems or what you call as poisoning. And hence the option is E. coli, which is a bacteria which is found in the living in the large intestine but does not cause any harm to the body. So it is non-pathogenic. Next, which of the following worms reach into intestine of the human by eating beef? Now, beef is cow meat. Actually, it is beef. Cow meat or cow flesh. If a person feeds on this, then which worm thus passes? The worm is none but is a tapeworm. Because what happens is that when an infected person undergoes excretion in the soil, the eggs of the worms get mixed with the soil. And when a cattle, particularly cow or buffalo, feed on the grass in the pasture, along with the air, some of these eggs, they get attached to the surface of the leaves of the grass. And when the animal is feeding on them, the eggs enter into the stomach. In stomach, they pass unaffected, protected by the digestive action or by the acid actions, and once in the large intestine they open, and then they hibernate and start forming the worm. And tapeworm, as you know, is a long worm. It can be of the length of even 5 to 6 meters. 5 to 6 meters of the length within the large intestine of a person. That's possible. Right? So, the tapeworm is a worm that can reach to the human intestine. While if we look at even the roundworms can also reach, but tapeworm is the one which is with the beef. Because roundworm is with the soil. Soil means particularly in young children who love eating the mud or soil. Because the eggs of these worms are in the soil when the child is eating the soil. Then along with the soil or with the unhygienic nails, uncut nails, the sand deposited in the nails, the eggs enters into the body and develop into the worms. Next, the disease elephantitis. Elephantitis is also called as filariasis. That is feet like an elephant. It's a disease, it's a helminthic disease caused by a worm in which the legs of an infected person becomes as thick as if a leg of an elephant. And this is caused by Ascaris cause is the roundworm, Wisteria bankrofti, Plasmodium vivax is for malaria, Tenisolium is for flatworm. It is Wisteria bankrofti that infects the lymph nodes, the lymph vessels. And these lymph nodes, once infected with the worm, it causes filarial worm or Wisteria bankrofti. It causes the elephantitis. And there is no treatment unless you, by surgery, you cut away the extended part of the leg. Next, the disease sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness is spread by. It is caused by trypanosoma, but it's spread by fly. Fly is a fly which is very common in the African region, in the central and northern Africa. This fly is found, and hence the disease is more prevalent in these regions than in others. Fly, because sandfly is the one that causes Kala Azar. Bedbug does not, no disease. Head louse can cause bleeding in the head. If scratched hard. So, Sessifly is the correct option. Next. Cholera is transmitted by, as I mentioned, cholera is transmitted by sandfly. Sessifly is for trypanosomiasis, that is sleeping sickness. Black flies are none but other normal house flies, which causes all the water and foodborne diseases. Mites rarely cause any disease. Next, give the correct matching of the correlative age and disease. Female Anopheles, malaria, that's true. Leishmaniasis, sleeping sickness, no. Leishmania causes Kala Azar. Glossina, Kala Azar, no. Wisteria, filariasis, yes. So female anaphylaxis causes malaria and Wisteria causes filariasis. And now, if option D is correct, because the female anaphylaxis does not cause malaria, it acts as a vector for malaria. Malaria is caused by the malaria parasite, Plasmodium vivax. So again, this is an incorrect option. And hence, D is the correct option, that the filariasis is caused by the worm called Wisteria bankrofti. Next, Anopheles and Culex mosquitoes can be distinguished with the help of antenna. That means if this is the head part, from here the antenna comes out. Mouth part, sitting posture, feeding habits. Now if we look at C is the correct option, because sometimes what happens, if you look, watch carefully. If this is your skin surface, you will see an insect visiting you. Now whether it's a mosquito or a Culex will depend on how it lands and sits. If it sits inclined like this, then it is mosquito. If it is parallel, then it is Culex. That means mosquito sit in inclined position. Whereas Culex sits parallel to skin surface. That is, it's like this and it's like this. So the C, sitting posture, is the correct option. Next, dengue is transmitted by a very well-known disease these days in most of the part of the country. By Culex, by male Anopheles, by Aedes, by female Anopheles. Female Anopheles is transmit malaria. Male Anopheles none, because it feeds on flower, nectar. Culex none. It is Aedes. It's Aedes aegypti that causes dengue, that transmit dengue and chikungunya. There is another disease called chikungunya. So both dengue and chikungunya are transmitted by the agent called Aedes, by the mosquito called Aedes aegypti. As a fresh water, they live in the fresh water. During daytime can be seen. Next, to reduce tooth decay, most toothpaste contain fluoride. You must have heard of this in many of these advertisements, that these toothpaste containing fluoride is better than the normal toothpaste because it has got the fluoride necessary for the proper growth of the teeth or the strongness or the build-up of the teeth. Fluoride ions are must. Next, which one of the following set is correctly matched? This is an important one. Now, which one is correct? Hereditary diphtheria? No. Pneumonia? No. So, one is incorrect. AIDS is caused by the virus, so it can't be bacteria. Color blindness, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia. Is it so? No. Because sickle cell anemia is not sex-linked. Color blindness and hemophilia are sex-linked diseases. Polio, Japanese bee encephalitis, and plague. These are the three viral diseases. So, polio, encephalitis, plague is also not a viral disease. It's a bacterial disease. So, the answer is none of these. Option D is the correct one. Right? Next. It begins as a single cell and grows into a merciless disease. Merciless disease means not worried about you. That claims millions of lives year after year. but scientists are steadily unlocking its mysteries, and the fight against it may now have revealed a dramatic turning point. Now discoveries promise better therapies and hope in war against the disease. The disease referred to in the above quotation is cancer, AIDS, tuberculosis, Alzheimer's disease. The disease is cancer. Because in cancer, a single cell develops into a tumor by uncontrolled division of a cell leads to the formation of tumor, and that tumor is what we call as cancer. And cancer can be benign or can be malignant. Benign, that means can be removed, can be taken care of. Malignant, when it cannot be taken care of, because the cancer cells pass from one body organ to the another body organ, another body part, such that from a single cancer or tumor, there is formation of number of tumors inside the body that leads to the death of the person. Next, according to World Health Organization (WHO), the disease which causes the death of the largest number of people today is AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, or Ebola. You might think AIDS to be the correct answer, but the correct answer is tuberculosis. Because no one dies of AIDS. As a result, a person is suffering from AIDS, he gets prone to get infected with other diseases. And hence, after three, tuberculosis, malaria, and Ebola, tuberculosis is the one responsible for the maximum number of deaths worldwide. Next, which of the following are associated with diabetes mellitus? Diabetes mellitus is a disease that we call as simply diabetes, which is caused because of the non-secretion of insulin. Now, what may happen? High sugar level in the blood, that's true. Low sugar level in blood, no. Lower insulin level in blood, yes. Higher insulin level, no. So, the correct option comes out to be that in diabetes mellitus is a condition in which the blood sugar level is high and the insulin level in the blood is low. So, the option D is the correct, first and the third. Next. Metastasis is the process because of metastasis is the name of a process. As I mentioned just recently, cancer can be benign, malignant. Benign restricted to one body, one part. Malignant spread other body parts. Now the spreading of this cancer from other parts is what we call as metastasis. So, cell divide rapidly under the influence of drugs. Cancer cells spread through the blood or lymphatic system to other site of organs. That's the correct option. Because metastasis refers to the development of the malignant cancer as a result of the flow or the movement of the cancer cells from one body part to the another body part. Next, consider the following condition of a sick human body. A person is sick. Swollen lymph nodes are swollen. Sweats at night. Losing memory, losing weight. Which of these are the symptoms of AIDS? Swollen lymph nodes, true. Sweating at night, true. Loss of memory, true. Loss of weight, true. So, all four are the correct answers, are the correct symptoms or symptom and signs for a disease called AIDS. Acquired immunodeficiency disease. Because AIDS is acquired either you call it disease or you call it disorder, caused by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. And for your information, diagnosis that whether a person is suffering from AIDS or not is done by test called ELISA test, which is enzyme linked assay sorbent test. ELISA test, enzyme linked assay sorbent test. HIV, the causative agent, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome is the disease. Right? Next. Consider the following statement. AIDS is transmitted by sexual intercourse? Yes. Blood transfusion? Yes. By mosquito and other blood-sucking insects? No. Across the placenta? Possible. So, it can be 1, 2 and 4. That is the correct option. So, the B is the correct one. That it can be transmitted by sexual contact, unprotected sex, blood transfusion, direct or indirect, or across the placenta, that is from infected mother to the fetus. Although the chances are less but cannot be denied. In some cases, it has been observed that the virus has infected the infant. Next. People drinking water from a shallow hand pump are likely to suffer from all of the following diseases except which disease? Fluorosis. Because fluorine is the one that is found at deep waters. It is not found in the shallow water. In the shallow water you find the germs for the waterborne diseases, and cholera, typhoid and jaundice. All three are water or food borne diseases, except fluorosis. Next, match the list 1 with list 2 and select the correct option by using the code given. Malaria. Malaria infect blood cells, that is 5. Filaria affects lymph nodes, that is 4. Elephantitis affects brain, 2. Leukemia infects brain, bone marrow 1. So 5, 4, 2, 1. B is the correct option. Malaria, blood cells, it destroys RBC. Filaria thrives in the lymph nodes. Elephantitis damages the brain. And leukemia, that means the blood cancer, is caused because of the bone marrow. Improper development of blood cells in bone marrow is called leukemia. Next. Match list 1 with list 2 and select the correct option using the code given below. Malaria. Malaria is caused by a protozoa. Polio is caused by a virus. Tuberculosis is caused by bacteria. And ringworm is caused by a fungus. So it is 4. Poliomyelitis 3. This is 2, 1. So the answer comes out to be 4, 3, 2, 1. A is the correct option. And you see in the last questions, we have tried to match the disease with its qualitative agent or symptoms or effects. Now, these are sort of the questions which are very prevalent in the examinations. Because with these questions, a student is not only asked about one disease, he is asked about the number of the diseases. So one need to be very careful about it. First check, if you have to follow the elimination system, first check the ones that you know, tick them. And then naturally, you will reach to one on which you have doubt on. And the remaining one would be the correct answer. So that's how you have to follow. Next. Which one of the following is not an insect-borne disease? Disease not caused not carried by an insect. Kala Azar is caused by sandfly. Malaria is female anopheles. Plague is rat flea. So it is beriberi because it's a vitamin deficiency disease. Next. Match list 1 with the list 2 as I mentioned before. Again the question is there. Conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis is a disease concerned with the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is a part of the eye. So it is 1. Dermatitis. Dermatitis is the one that is concerned with the skin. Derm. That means epiderm. 3. Gout is the one caused because of accumulation of the uric acid in the joints. So 2, 3 is 2. Meningitis 4. So 1. Second is 3. Third is 2. And 4. B, option B is the correct. 1. Conjunctivitis 1. Dermatitis 3. Gout 2. And this is 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. Next. Which one of the following disease caused due to the presence of excess of arsenic in the water? Actually, the studies have shown that the presence of the heavy metal arsenic in a person causes disease related to Alzheimer's disease or skin cancer, in which skin becomes dry, scaly, and even the blood starts oozing out of the skin, or irregular development of the papules on the skin surface. Next. Which one of the following diseases are waterborne? That means spread by water, by drinking contaminated water. Typhoid, yes. Hepatitis B, yes. Hepatitis A, yes. Tuberculosis, airborne. Hepatitis B is body fluids, like AIDS. So we are left with only two options, typhoid and hepatitis A. 1 and 4, option C is the correct one. Hepatitis B is by body fluid, just like semen, blood, etc. Tuberculosis is airborne, passes through an infected person by air when the person sneezes or coughs. But typhoid and hepatitis A are the ones that are caused because of the water, contaminated water. So now, students, today we have discussed number of questions, about 50 questions. The questions which have come in the previous year exams. And for the sake of exposure, in the next class too, we'll just discuss some more questions with respect to diseases, causes, their symptoms, effects, etc. So that at the end of these 3 sets, you feel a bit comfortable about the number of the diseases, the type of diseases, names of some of the diseases, their treatment, etc. Right? Fine, thanks.